I'm Jim Henson, and welcome to the world of puppetry. We're in Stuttgart, West Germany, home of Albrecht Roser. His specialty is marionettes, or string puppets, which are among the oldest and most familiar forms of puppetry. But it's taken a genius like Albrecht to show us their full potential. He carves all of his own puppets from blocks of wood and manages to get a degree of delicacy and sensitivity into his performances that I've never seen before. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to introduce you now to the puppet artistry of Albrecht Roser.
Grüß Gott miteinander. Grüß Gott. So, guten Abend. Auch nicht. Na, was denn? Ach so, good evening, good evening, good evening, jetzt. You understand? Good evening? You do, what a surprise. Yeah, that is schön. That's wonderful, that's beautiful, that's extraordinary. I am in your home, yeah, in TV, just visiting you. Not direct, but by TV, that's something else, but it is. Nonetheless, it's beautiful, isn't it? So lifelike, yes. I'm from Germany, you know, a grandmother from Germany, from Stuttgart, south of Germany, and I enjoy very much to be with you. And how are you tonight? Or today? It depends, yeah, when you see me, because it's night now on the other side of our earth. Maybe you see me right now. You're fine, that's good, I'm fine too. So we are fine together. That's how it is. Yes, I must say, that's a beautiful... Oh, I just dropped the stitch. Just a minute, please. If you don't mind, I must just try to keep on knitting because, you know, it's high time that I got it again. Thank you very much for waiting for me. So now I think it's enough because Jim would probably like to speak some words with Albrecht.
Have you always lived in Stuttgart?
When I was a boy and a young man, yes, mainly, most of time. But of course, not when I started to be a puppeteer. Zwei Kaffee, bitte.
But you've traveled all over the world.
I traveled a lot, yes. All over the world, nearly all over the world.
Where all have you performed around the world?
I think it's difficult to tell about where I performed already. It's easier to say where I did not perform at all.
Is that right? Your own puppet show that we see you do now, how long have you been doing this show? Or are parts of it very old?
Yes, I started more than 30 years ago with Gustav, and I tried to make a perfect thing. Was my first string puppet, which I did and which I performed with, and I decided not to produce a lot of things, one after the other one, but to try to raise the level of my performance as much as I would be able to do. Just to fight for puppetry as an art form for grown-ups.
Schokoladenbaby. Mein Schokoladenbaby. Schokolade, Schokolade, Schokoladenbaby. Schokolade, Schokolade, Schokoladenbaby. Schokolade, Schokolade, Schokoladenbaby. Schokolade, Schokolade, Schokoladenbaby. Schokolade, Schokoladenbaby. Schock, schock, schock. La, la, la. Schock, schock, schock. La, la, la. Schock, schock, schock. Chocolate, chocolate, baby. Chocolate, 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 baby. Chocolate, 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 baby. Chocolate, 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 baby. Chocolate, 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 baby. Doom, 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 chocolate and baby, chocolate and baby, chocolate and baby, chocolate and baby, chocolate, 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 la 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 and baby.
Have you always enjoyed performing with an audience? Is this something that comes naturally to you?
No, I would say an opposite. I had a terrible time when I started.
Really?
Yeah. I like to do it. I like to do it for myself first, with a mirror. And myself as an audience, you know, no problem. But other people watching me, that was a reason for me to go to puppetry too. Because I thought, if I have a really good puppet with me,
really good puppet protects me from being seen by an audience.
Yes.
And that's for a long time that way, for a very long time. I even had no proposition at all to speak any word with any puppet. I thought I would never do it. I would never try it. But that's changed in between you.
But now you're comfortable, yes? Now you enjoy the audience.
Yeah. I enjoy the audience now because I learned a lot. I learned a lot in all these years with puppets. Puppets taught me a lot. You do the same, you do never the same. If it is real performed, there's no performance like the other one. So, that's it. It's not annoying. In opposite, it's amazing how it works, and after time, you can compare, and it's every time new and more refined, and in another way interesting. And after 20 years, you learn suddenly that's not what you thought. In principle, that's another thing. And you learn new things after 20 years suddenly. After 30 years, you learn, aha, I didn't understand myself.
You get more personality into a string puppet, into a marionette, than almost anyone else. I think you develop such a fine sense of timing, and that's what makes your performance stand out.
Thank you, and I hope I succeeded in some of my propositions. doing it more and more perfect, developing a feeling into the string puppet, which is a system, kind of definite being, not human being, but a being.
You get to the point where you are thinking through that marionette?
I think so, yes. And at least feeling, not thinking, maybe, but the feeling for it. And
feel and react.
Yeah, and the reaction and the possibilities to bring out what is in this special puppet.
How long have you been doing a piece like the scarf dance, which is one of my favorite pieces? Is this recent, or does this go way back?
Scarf is going back at least 20 years now, too. And I started it because I was asked that string puppetry is so a complicated thing that no normal man can do it. So I started to create a very simple thing, just to show them it can be done in a simple way, too, and nonetheless have a lot of possibilities to express feelings, to make movements.
Well, I think it's one of the most eloquent pieces. The simplicity of that is just beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Now this is all carved of wood, though.
That's carved wood, yeah.
Do you work most of yours carved of wood?
I returned to wood again.
Yeah.
I tried a lot of things, different things, paperwork like this, and artificial stuff like celestic and things like that. So I just returned to wood because it's a special material, and carving is a special skill, and I like to carve very much.
The feeling of wood.
A feeling of wood,
feeling.
feeling of material, which gives me every time a new aspect, a new idea.
Put strings to a figure like this. How do you know where to put the strings? How do you know?
I don't know. I just,
Really?
of course, some of the points, which could be the right ones, I know, and I try. And after this, I know by experience where to go further.
You try to use as few strings as possible.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any theories? You know, if you teach, when you teach your students, are there any theories as to how you string a figure?
Yes. The first steps are very simple, like a ball with a string or with several strings. See, you start with one string.
Let me get this out of the way.
Just.
Can I put this down?
Yeah. You start with one string and add a second one and a third one. And this is the principle of all the stringing business.
So as soon as you have three strings on a figure, you completely control it.
Yes, almost.
Yeah.
Like the old physical law, 3 points fix a body in space.
Yeah. And then the kind of controls you use, is that a normal control there?
That's about a normal control. They are different. That depends.
Mm-hmm.
But this is quite normal here. That's about a normal one with legs. Here are the shoulders. Here is the head, and these are arms and hands.
And you hold it upright, yes?
I hold it very convenient from my hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not this way and not this way, but just like the hand is on my body.
Mm-hmm.
I just hold it this way. And
what is this part now?
That's for legs.
The feet, that's for walking?
For walking, yeah. And all the other things are done by turning the whole hand.
Mm-hmm. In a little plaza like this, I think of your organ grinder. And,
Yes. Yes.
Thinking it would take place in a place like this. How did you happen to come up with this idea?
I think that was an impression which I had after war. There was a man which appeared to me like this organ grinder. And there was the idea to create such a scene with a very simple steps over the stage and a stop, to do it as simple as possible, and nonetheless to give all the feelings which are in a good and a really good made string puppets, which are possible to express by just simple steps and stop, do one movement, begging, being embarrassed, and going away. You see, there's a lot of scenes developed by trying to find out what kind of possibilities do we have with string puppetry else. We know we can make opera with a string puppetry. We can make theater, and we can use words and things like we do in theater, in human theater. So I tried all my life long to find out what else could be done.
Because you have taught students, and when you see people coming along learning this art form, who makes a good puppeteer? What do you look for, and how do you detect if a person is good?
I think it could be a lot of different things, and I've still no idea how to find. They must try, and after a while you can see it.
I never know where a good puppeteer is going to come from. Sometimes it's an artist that learns to perform. Sometimes it's a performer that learns that art form. So it's interesting to try to find out where you look.
Yeah, I can't tell without seeing what he is doing.
Yeah,
or she is doing.
I sometimes never know until a person has worked for 6 months or a
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
And I think you can't really get good, and I don't think with our group, a puppeteer doesn't develop until he can do a main character for 3 years at least, of constant work before they're, decent.
Yes, and that's not the end of it.
No.
When I first heard about Japanese puppeteers, Bunraku people, learning 15 years until the first step on stage.
Is that right?
Yeah, I thought, that's overdone. But now, after a couple of years, I must say, I think that's quite normal.
Mm.
After a dozen of years, you start to have an overlook. And you start to understand that there's a lot of different things and a lot more of learning and exercising and changing your mind and things like that. Developing.
Yes, with the Bunraku, they spend 6 or 7 years just doing like the left hand before they move to the next step.
Sounds strange for us.
Yes. They also have a way of the master puppeteer, who is operating the main character, wears wooden shoes. And when one of the assistants makes a mistake, he kicks him in the shins. And he never tells him what he did wrong. Something I like.
That's a special treat in Japan, you know. They even thank the master because he let them know you made a mistake by doing the kick. Sounds strange in these times for us.
I think we better start kicking our puppeteers more often, yes?
Okay, let's try.